What are you trying to say? Jay's a whore?
It sure appears that way.
She's... Yeah, because
where...
Okay.
Yeah.
When did she meet Hugh? And she couldn't have known him long. She didn't know anything about him before we find out he's Steve or whatever, right?
So well, they do go on one date before they fuck.
So why is she the whore? The dudes are sleeping around just as much.
No, Jay is a whore.
Jesus.
I don't know that that's true until this happens. Then I think
I don't
she
think
becomes
it is.
one.
I think that's the first guy she slept with.
No.
I don't think it's that bad.
I was going to bring that up. Do you think they don't really say it? Oh, no. She referenced she slept with Greg in high school.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So yeah, so it wouldn't be that hard to do it again. That's really weird that they had sex in the hospital. She's all like beat up and stuff, and
okay.
Well, he was beat up. Who was having sex with who? I don't know.
Yeah, you got a chart. I got a chart too.
We got a chart. Do you want to read that?
I think
Did we even open the show yet?
No. Hi.
That's a cold opening there.
Welcome to Just Another Horror Podcast. I'm John.
I'm Ben.
Cobra.
And today we will be reviewing It Follows. I picked this one. This one is about a demon that chases you or a monster that chases you after you have sex with somebody.
Is this a first time watch for you?
It's like the second or third, I think.
This is the first time for you, Cobra.
Second.
Oh, okay. You both have seen it.
It helps to see it more than once, I think.
Yeah, it does.
So,
does it?
Yeah.
Because your chart looks like, you've got everything pegged out.
What a fucking mess.
I think you guys are thinking way too much about it, but...
What do you mean?
I really put a lot of thought into this.
That's what I was watching this to see what kind of connections, where we could figure out where it came from. See, let's do some investigation into this walking STD ghost.
Yeah,
let's see if we can get...
Let's get to the bottom of
patient, what do they call it? Patient Zero?
Yeah.
The one who started this whole thing?
I think Patient Zero is a drunk at a bar, as far as we can tell.
That's the origin of it.
Yeah.
But at least she informed Q.
We do have an email, by the way, for this.
Why don't you read that email?
Do you want to read it now?
Hey, John, Cobra, and Ben. I saw you were watching It Follows this week, and I felt the need to share my opinion. That movie is a piece of shit and a waste of time.
Wow.
Allow me to explain.
Please.
In a story that's supposed to be a metaphor for dealing with your problems, I guess the answer of getting rid of an STD zombie is to stare sadly at the floor a lot, running away and having weird, boring sex. The main character has no personality, no connection or chemistry with other characters, and does nothing to help herself or solve her problem. And the plot! Exclamation point. It moves way too slow, and when you think you might go somewhere, guess what? It doesn't. No one grows or learns anything. A guy dies and a girl gets shot, but no one really seems to care or mind. I guess she's in love with Paul at the end? If your idea of love is no passion, no connection, and one conversation about a childhood memory, the kills don't make any sense. The first girl was mutilated. The neighbor guy was peed on to death, fucked to death. What the fuck?
To death.
No consistency except the painfully slow walking. They try to trick the STD zombie by going into an abandoned building with a perfectly pristine, well-kept pool in the basement. And they just keep shooting at her? You shot it once in the head and it got back up. But I guess if you shoot it in the pool, it bleeds everywhere, everything's fine again. What the fuck? It will supposedly take the form of loved ones in an attempt to get close to the victim. Hold on there, criticism. We'll get to that, I guess. That only happened twice, and once was the form of a friend who was right there, so it obviously wasn't her. Mostly it was creepy, nasty people that anyone would run away from. Be a dead grandma, for God's sake. Maybe you'll trick him into a hug, stupid STD zombie. And finally, this movie is set in the 80s. It's filled to the brim with feathered hair, tube socks, boxy cars, and rotary phones. You can't throw one electronic device in there and call it timeless. And then rolls their eyes. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for symbolism and metaphors in my movies, but this at least has to make a little sense. Have some signs of depth or connection. Beyond showing this to teenagers to promote safe sex, It Follows is a useless, time-sucking, surface-dwelling movie that has tricked fans into thinking it has meaning. In closing, enjoy What We Do in the Shadows because that's one of the best things you'll watch all year. Oh, yeah. And you'll need it after watching this snore fest wrapped in confusion, dipped in frustration. From Always Killing It, Ricardo.
Do we know Ricardo?
He wrote in for the last ever episode.
Oh.
That's the only time I ever heard from him before.
And he wrote back?
Oh yeah, he wrote back again.
Wow.
So that's...
He was really in suspense if we were going to put out another episode. Good job, Ricardo.
Yeah.
I understand your complaints. I can see where you're coming from. I still think it's a lot better than a lot of the shit that's put out today.
Yeah, I mean, it's far different. It does different things. It has different ideas. It's
I
executed
like
better.
the original concept. I mean, do you have the same complaints about Terminator? Of this thing that just basically walks and will hunt you down no matter where you go. You're not safe.
I don't like Terminator. I'm kidding.
I love Terminator. I was like,
Don't compare this movie to Terminator, please.
I'm just saying.
Don't ever do that.
I'm just saying.
No.
I believe we have an opposing view in the house.
I didn't think it was awful, but it's certainly not good with all its
I-
holes.
I don't think you can say that for definite that it's set in the 80s. The first girl gets into a brand new Ford Focus or something to
Yep.
drive away. That was one of the things I liked about it was I compared it to. I mean, it's not crazy like Lynch movies are, David Lynch movies, but it's a kind of Lynchian world, dream logic.
Mhm.
And I
can't put
enjoyed
really-
all the.
You can't really put a specific time
No.
or place to it.
That's
and
why I don't like
I liked it for that reason.
That's why I'm gonna agree, and I don't like. You can't show me 5 different decades and expect me to believe anything that's going on in the story.
So why don't we get into it?
Okay. We start off with Annie.
My first question is, why is she running in high heels?
That's what I have to.
Okay.
Because
The
you just
first
had
note I
sex
have
with
is
you,
heels.
I
Yeah.
assume.
Yeah, I would run too.
Oh, you think he threw her out of the car?
Doesn't she come out of her house?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she came out of her house.
She doesn't come out of her house because she runs to her house.
Oh, she is running from somewhere.
She's running from something into out in the street. And then her dad's like, "Is everything okay, hon?" And she's like, "Yeah," and then takes off running half naked in high heels. Yeah, everything's great.
The score in this movie is fantastic.
I wouldn't say fantastic, it's good. I think it's overplayed. And some scenes are just like walking, it's like dun, 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 dun,
Yeah, there's
dun,
that, I
dun,
mean,
dun,
they do
dun,
a lot of
dun.
that stinger when you see the half-naked old person.
The tall guy coming through the door.
Some of them are creepy. This movie's just tense the whole way through. It's just
Is it?
dread. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what happens here. What is coming after you? What if you blow it up with a grenade? Can it morph back into itself? Because I feel like there you might kill it.
That is a good question. How do you kill this thing? Do you kill it?
I don't
What
think
if you-
that's the...
Strap a grenade to it and blow it into 1,000 pieces.
Okay, so go metaphor. Like, you have, say you got an STD, say it's, I know a lot of people compare it to like HIV or AIDS or something like that. Like, you can fend it off, but it's still always going to be in the back of your mind.
I have
It
a
could come back
completely
again.
different
Metaphor.
interpretation of
Okay,
this.
I'm just saying, like, if people want to compare it to like an STD, it's
I think this movie is about when you suddenly realize that you're mortal and you try to run away from the fact that you're gonna die, but inevitably it will kill you.
But doesn't that make a good movie though, where you have
No.
everybody's getting a different meaning out of it? There's multiple metaphors for it.
Could be.
Really? Let's talk to the director and see what he thought.
He
was.
just said
3 or 4
that.
different things,
I think
I think.
I've only read the idea for the movie came from a reoccurring nightmare he always had as a kid of this thing that would just walk towards him in his dreams.
That's
And
it?
That's what he said, and then later he put the whole sexualizing it. I guess was later in life
So
when he
was
was an
he
adult
having
and he was
dreams
already.
about like nude men standing on his
I
roof?
mean, he didn't go into this.
Let's
details,
talk about
but-
that.
Okay.
That part doesn't make any sense.
Which one?
When that naked man is just standing on her roof, because at no point has this thing climbed on any roofs at this point. It walks and it tries to get through the door or the windows. We've never seen it climb a roof. There's no reason I would just be standing there glaring at her. It always is
Well,
walking
then I hope
towards
that's
you.
not even it. I hope that's just some dude that was on a roof. That would make
You
it
know what
so
I mean?
much better.
From what we know of this thing, it is always walking at you. It is never just standing there staring from a roof.
But she's the only one, besides.
It doesn't
Hugh-
matter.
Besides
It-
Hugh at the beginning, she's the only one who, like, Greg doesn't believe her. And,
No.
like, so Greg isn't waiting for this thing to come after him.
No, but
She's aware.
from what
she
we
sees.
know of this thing, it's always coming at its target. It's slow, but it's not stupid.
It's got all the limitations of a human being other than changing its look.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it can't morph into
But it's always coming at you. At no point is it ever not.
No.
That's what it says. It never stops.
Maybe it, dude, if it has all the attributes of a human being besides, what'd you just say?
changing into another person. It can do that, but everything else has...
It has to breathe. Like, oh man, I've been walking like forever.
It doesn't have to breathe. It gets shot in the fucking head, and it just gets right up and comes right at you. Yeah. Don't tell me it has to breathe.
It's got a stitch, man. It's like kind of cramped up.
Bends over, has to get a deep breath.
Oh, it's really hard chasing this guy. No.
I'm sorry if that's your biggest complaint.
That's not my biggest complaint. That's a very small complaint on a list of complaints I have.
Do you want to talk more about the movie, or
all right, let's get into
just talking about themes of the movie?
Annie dies on the beach. She dies after calling her mom and dad.
That looks horrific.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the same beach that later in the movie?
I think, yeah.
I don't. It's
think
Michigan.
Let's just assume it is. Yeah, she had a snap leg and whatever.
And then our main character Jay is swimming around, and there's some pervert kids running around.
Yeah.
Just looking at her, huh?
What do you think of? I can't say like, oh, I feel like this was an American movie. We would, because obviously it was. But like they put her in a not sexy bathing suit. You figure
she's in a one piece.
Yeah, like in today's a movie coming out today, you just figure they'd really try to sexualize her. They made it,
I think, to make her look wholesome.
She's wearing granny panties all the time.
I think she's about to.
But we know that she's a whore because she's having sex with everybody.
Jeez. I'm gonna try to sound smart here. Okay. I think at the beginning of the movie, she's supposed to be more like a child, and this experience puts her into adulthood.
Well, we see that game she's playing when she goes out with Hugh for the first time at the movie theater, and it's this whole look around, pick somebody. You have two guesses to
why you want to trade places.
Why I want to trade places. It's a very child, innocent game.
And he talks about wanting to be a kid.
And did you see the movie that was playing that they were going to watch? Charade. Sorry, I pick these things up. I just enjoy it. But so yeah,
the first part of the movie's fine until you find out its flaws. Like when Hugh's like looking back, he's like, "Do you see that girl back there in
the yellow dress?"
Yellow dress. No, we gotta go.
Yeah.
No explanation, but he doesn't try to fuck her that night. He takes her to dinner and takes her home. So I guess at some point between that and the next date, he decides, I'll just.
He was going for the long con.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can't just. Technically, he did kind of assault her.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why doesn't he just? He plotted this thing. Like he really planned.
And he went home and he thought about.
He had ether in his trunk.
I guess did he believe that? Like a lot of another critique of this movie is like, well, why don't you just find a prostitute to sleep with? But if you try to tell a prostitute, listen, I just passed something on to you. I need you to listen because if it kills you, it's gonna come back to me.
No, have to do that this is what you do. You have sex with the prostitute on a night, and she's gonna go out and fuck more people that night before that thing gets to her. So it's passed on quite a few spots. Let them figure it out.
You don't even have to tell the prostitute because she will get rid of it.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but eventually you're gonna be looking over your shoulder if all those people die, because you're still gonna be there for the what?
If she fucks forever though.
Dread the movie. Like,
how about this
solution?
Look over your shoulder. Move to Europe. Can that thing travel through the fucking ocean? Can it get on a plane?
It can, but it'll take a while.
Yeah, I think I did read where the director even said, or the writer said that they're the same person, but the writer had said like, yes, it would have to get on a plane.
How could it get a ticket if it's like?
No one sees it, moron.
Exactly. How could it get on the?
So it just sits in the aisle.
It's like waiting for a second. Damn it!
Peanuts. But so yeah, technically it could. So therefore, it's always come after you.
How would it know where you are? Oh,
I guess it's got a connection to you or something, which that part was never explained.
What if you were out in a boat though? How would it get out? Would it get into another boat? Well, though it still would have to do something. That would be tricky for it. If you just went sailing.
So, the scene where they actually do, he sleeps with Jay, and then she's just, again, kind of innocent, like, talking about something of childhood.
Yeah.
And then he goes to his trunk. Am I supposed to believe that was chloroform? Because all other movies, chloroform knocks you out so quickly. He was really
stuck it in there. What's that? Is it ether or ethanol or?
He just grabbed some rubbing alcohol.
And that,
why isn't this working?
It just goes dark, man. Like he knocks her out, ties her up in some abandoned Detroit industry old factory. And she comes to, and that's when he explains exactly what he did.
Mm-hmm. Is this as bad as giving somebody AIDS willingly?
Yeah.
I think so, too. Yeah.
Is it? No, because you didn't really give them a disease. They just have a person trying to kill them.
Yeah, but
AIDS is trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Everything's trying to kill you.
Yeah, but you gave it to them.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying purposely.
If you...
Knowing you have it. And
Okay,
still
let me
going
ask you this. If you have AIDS and you sleep with someone, are they guaranteed to get it?
I think if...
Is it 100% like, if you have it and you sleep with someone that doesn't have it, they're going to get it?
Are you asking, like, if AIDS is like pregnancy?
No, because
may or may not.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Like, I don't know if it's like
no,
100% every time. Like if someone had, you know.
I didn't research.
I assume
AIDS.
it's not though, because I think if they take medication, they could still be married. And...
I mean, it's kind of well known now. Like
Well, yeah,
today's society, like, if you get HIV, it's not a death sentence anymore the way it
Mm.
was. But still,
It's not good.
He tells her that what's exactly going on, that there's going to be something that chases her and it'll look like different people. Wheels her over to the edge of the building, and there's an old,
I mean,
a weird-looking woman.
I understand
This
the
isn't even
criticism.
that old woman. This is
I
like a
understand
brown
the
woman.
criticisms of. Yeah, he says this can take the form. I mean, wouldn't you automatically, if you were this thing, take the form of
somebody that was familiar.
somebody that was familiar and not kind of act the way this thing does? It really likes to take the shape of naked people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's fine. Because when we first see this woman come up, Revenge of the Nerds,
The
we have Bush.
Right.
yeah. Then when we see the guy on top of the house, they put him with a loincloth or something, a little banana hammock.
Cover that up.
But so after telling Jay exactly what happened, what she needs to do, we get to a horrific scene where is that her younger sister and her just friends,
and
neighborhood friends, and they're one of this weird, what decade is it? They're sitting out playing Old Maid at night on a milk crate, and Hugh pulls up to the curb and
Just
basically
kicks her out.
And he
Picks her
yells,
up out of
"Don't
the-
let it touch you!" and drives away.
Yeah, that's a horrific. I don't know. It's very. I don't know.
You know my problem too in the first opening series?
Mm.
It's good, but when they're doing like cut shots, they elapse so much time. It'll show like the kids in daytime, then it cuts right to night. Like hours elapse in these cut shots.
I don't
wanna
feel like these people do anything.
they don't do anything.
So-
But like
What part of the season is this? What are we supposed to believe? None of it. Like, we see her swimming in a swimming pool.
There are green
looks
leaves, and then there's
cold.
brown leaves. Yeah.
They're wearing coats.
He is in jeans and a jacket when he ties her up in her bra and underwear when he first tells her about that thing. So,
Dream logic.
man.
I feel like this movie is more of a, instead of a straightforward narrative, is more like an idea being portrayed by characters. If that makes any sense. That's why the time doesn't make sense, and I don't know, the people don't really do anything that would distinguish them from anybody else. They are kind of flat. So.
I mean, I think they're trying to be that millennial culture, or what is the stereotype for
We
millennials?
might get killed by a demon.
Yeah, everybody's everybody's
care.
emo.
Mm.
John's emo.
But we see like
I cut myself.
they took her to the hospital. The cops are involved, which doesn't normally happen in horror films.
They don't do a lot.
No, they don't. But they don't
The
do a
adults
lot
in
in
this
other.
the adults in this place don't do really anything.
Nah,
They're
the
there.
mom's. We don't see a dad. The mom
We do see a dad later.
in a picture.
No,
She's in the hospital.
no, the dad is the final.
Oh, guy that.
That's
The
throwing all the
shape.
TVs in and shit. I thought that was cool as fuck.
Um,
I guess I'm getting way ahead of myself.
Yeah.
yeah, we just
Yeah, it
see
wasn't
like the
cool.
mom just doesn't seem
Sorry.
involved. They think she's a drunk.
Yeah, she
Uh,
falls asleep with the. She's like Nancy's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
this
much.
is Lanchon Camp.
Mm.
She explains to her sister, and is it Paul? Jealous Paul?
Yes.
Jealous Paul,
Who's
yep.
creepily
He
always
just
kind
needs
of.
to fucking do
leery.
something.
You
like,
could have had sex with
say
me.
something.
Yeah, he got friend zoned, and he's pissed about it.
Because they kiss once.
No,
in
every
fourth
time,
grade.
anytime that she does anything in front of him, he just kind of goes. He doesn't do anything.
See?
We almost get a shot.
Keep complaining about the movie.
Sorry.
So we see her sitting in the classroom. I assume she's like 18, 19, just got out of high school and starting like community
She's
college.
starting college. Yep.
We almost get a shot of Halloween.
That's what
In
I
the
have.
class,
yeah.
looking out the
Yeah,
window.
I
I
almost-
just saw that in my notes.
So the first killer that she sees is an old woman,
Yeah,
and I thought that was
Wait,
probably.
is she in college?
we just talked about that. 3 seconds ago.
I was literally staring at my notes trying to see where we were. I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we think she's like community college. She just graduated.
Freshman?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this old woman is a representation of her when she gets old. That's what this is supposed to be.
You were really hammering on the
what?
mortality
This
thing.
old woman walking at her?
I think there's a ton of stuff in here that indicates this is about mortality.
When you realize you're mortal.
Oh.
So the person that comes after her is an old woman. And it also takes the shape of a couple of other people, too. One of them being the dad that I ruined already. But I won't ruin the other one.
Some giant tall thing.
There was a giant tall thing. I don't know what that was, but...
It wasn't scary. That's what it wasn't.
So Paul's like, oh, dude, I'll stay at your house tonight.
Yeah, he does.
I'll
Baby.
protect you. I'll give you my sword.
So she comes down and they're talking, and I guess they kissed each other when they were kids. But just, Paul, everything Paul does is weird and gross.
He's cringy.
Yeah.
That's another thing, well, there's
But he's watching monster movies the whole time.
Yep.
Yo.
So there's a glass breaking in the background.
It's like
in
in the kitchen.
And so Paul's like, I'm going to go get your sister, and takes 10 minutes. And then
Oh, it's so gross that the
she's pissing on herself.
yeah, it's,
and
ugh.
There's
what
another
is
boob.
that? What is that supposed to be?
No idea.
Like, at that point, I guess it was like, you know some women, right?
Maybe that's gonorrhea and it makes your...
Maybe it's like
I don't know.
She escapes. She grabs the nearest bicycle in the yard and takes off. And then we also, her sister and friend come running after her, but across the street we see Greg, the other neighbor.
It was just when the big tall thing came after her.
Yeah, which I thought that was pretty creepy.
The whole setup was pretty good because it was, she opens the door twice and nothing comes in.
That friend came in and it came in like right after her.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes to like the local park, I guess, and they all meet up again. The sister, Paul, and the neighbor Greg comes over, and
He was getting high in the car with some lady.
Yeah, two parties in a car.
They agree, like, they need more information, basically, from Hugh.
Mm-hmm.
So they agree to track him down. Now, this part, I don't like. How did they find out this crack house he was hiding in? They just driving around?
She knew where he lived, but she'd never been inside of it.
That's right. She said he was embarrassed. She's like, I knew where he lived. Yeah, it's just basically a reason to show dilapidated Detroit.
He has Star Awake pills in his
Star Awake
cabinet.
They just crossed out the line. I do have a question. Why do they have all these nudie mags and paper or Kleenexes?
I'm assuming that he was trying to maybe get rid of it that way. I don't know.
Get out, demon!
I'm
gonna masturbate you away.
Do you need that many magazines?
That's a good point.
I'm not feeling this one. You have something coming after you.
And inside the magazine,
That's not serious, is it?
What?
He was trying to masturbate
No, that was
away.
a total joke. The demon's like after the it's like use tissue. Yeah.
Well, I just didn't understand that. Like.
Me either.
That part, and inside one of the magazines is a
picture
of him, Hugh, and a girl.
Some girl.
Oh, was
that
a girl
Annie?
at the beginning? Was that Annie?
It might have been.
I thought it might.
With a Letterman's jacket on, and they recognize the high school, so they can go get information where Hugh might live.
What's interesting about this is he lived there during this problem that he was having, and then
He still lives with his mom?
He moved back in with his mom once he gave it to
He was Jeff Redman.
Jeff Redman.
I looked up like what these other stuff these people
No,
were in.
no, listen. Hugh was a fake name in the movie.
Oh, yeah,
His
yeah.
real
Oh,
name in the
right,
movie
right.
is Jeff Redman.
So they go to his house. They find out where he lives, and they go to his house. His mom answers the door.
And just lets them all in.
So, and there's this another scene of this, like, these kids are still quite innocent and stuff. They're out in the backyard, and
They're like sitting
they're
Indian
all
style.
drinking soda. Like, the mom brought them milk and cookies almost. Oh, your friends are here. Mm-hmm. And he's explaining more who he got it from, I guess. Greg's not buying any of it, and did you get the reference where she's picking blades of grass and putting them across her leg?
No, what was that?
Cutting.
Oh, okay.
Like
that makes
usually
sense.
depressed or like if you're gonna cut, like it's you cut in a place that no one can see.
Damn,
it,
this movie was really on top of shit.
This movie, no, that is terrible.
That's an interesting retort.
You don't like it because you have to think.
I don't. Putting blades of grass to represent somebody cutting their legs because they're depressed. Oh, that's so awesome. No, that's stupid.
That's just showing what the people are like. It's not necessarily not stupid.
I know
in real
she's
life.
depressed. She's got a fucking ST demon coming after her.
Ooh, ST demon.
I like that.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Do you think that? I didn't realize he put that into the movie metaphor. STD, ST.
I think he just made it up.
I think he did too. I'm just trying to
piss him off.
Yeah.
That's mine. Okay, so they all decide to go to Greg's
cabin, lake
Yeah.
cabin.
Wait, let's talk about this. Jeff can still see the thing,
Yeah.
even though it's now currently going after.
He's afraid.
Jay.
He's afraid of everything. Like there's some girl walking by. And
But
she's like,
shouldn't
"You see
he?
him?"
He knows that it can't attack him until Jay's dead.
Right.
No, but if it comes up behind her and they're in the same place, he says we shouldn't be in the same place.
Exactly.
It kills her and then grabs him like immediately. Like that's why he's saying that. That's why he's still like scared of everybody walking up behind him.
Okay, so they're at this beach house, and I guess they're gonna try and figure out what they're gonna do next. Pretty much what their ideas are. They're practicing shooting guns and.
Which
They're laying at the
these
beach
kids
doing nothing.
shouldn't have a gun.
These
No.
particular kids? Probably not.
I mean,
Who's Greg?
Greg's the neighbor that
Okay.
is across the street.
Yeah.
He doesn't buy any of this.
No.
And he goes to take a piss.
I think he just sees this as an opportunity to
Bang.
fuck Jay.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a pretty good reveal. I think there's somebody walking up in the background. You notice
This is
everybody
the best
who's there,
reveal, I think.
and then you see the girl on the raft.
Well, you recognize the girl coming up from the house
Mhm.
to the beach, and you think, oh, that's her friend.
Mhm.
And then
because there's no musical
and
cues.
the
at
friend
all.
is not among the circle group.
I agree.
And then in the background, you see the water, and you see the friend come into view in a raft, and you're still like, is that the friend? And then she yells, you all should come in the water, and you realize, oh shit.
That was really well done.
This is the best part of the movie by far because I thought that was that
And
what was that girl's
Zora-
name?
Zara?
Something
Zara?
with the Z.
I got it. Hang on. Yar.
Yar, something with a Y, very close to the Z. They're beside each other.
Sounds like a relative of that guy from Snow Beast.
Yar.
What was that guy's name?
Lar?
I don't even fucking know.
Yar.
Was it Yar? Was it Yar and
No,
Yar?
Yar is.
Gar?
Gar. Yar and Gar.
Yeah, Yar is what I think they called Dan Connor from Roseanne, his buddies in high school. Yar. Speaking of which, I watched 10 Cloverfield Lane. That movie stunk.
I like the ending. I like the. We're not talking about that. We're talking about It
Yeah.
Follows.
Finally did figure out what they say, and I showed you yesterday what they say in Big Lebowski. This is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps.
Yeah,
and then
for
he
the
says
TV.
something about feeding them scrambled eggs. I don't even know.
Oh my god. It was like the TV dub over version. Instead of saying
Oh.
fucking stranger in the ass, it was find a stranger in the Alps.
Wow.
And then he
there's
just
certain
goes, this is
movies
what happens
just
when you
don't put
feed
on-
something scrambled eggs.
eggs.
There's just certain movies you just shouldn't put on cable television.
Paul got clawed.
Okay, yeah, this is a little dumb, the effects on this. She gets picked up by the hair,
Yeah.
and then somebody gets kicked.
Paul gets kicked.
Yeah, and that looks...
Greg still isn't witnessing any of this because he's off taking a
He's
piss.
peeing, yeah.
Are they drinking beer?
I don't know. I think, yeah, because Paul looked like he was really struggling with his beer.
The kids do. When you said they were drinking soda, when they're playing Old Maid,
Yeah.
they're drinking beer in a pop can. They mention because they didn't want the mom to know because she was still inside.
That's right. They were talking about like smoking.
Mm-hmm.
They all run into a
Boathouse.
and Jay shoots the monster in the neck.
Yeah, but she's constantly shooting towards
Greg's
Greg's
right
running
behind.
and he's
Yep.
getting shot at.
And all
hear
Greg
the
sees is getting
bullets
bullets
flying
shot
at
at
him.
him. Yeah.
She gets out of there, but she jumps
So-
in the car.
So let's talk about this. She does shoot the ST demon in the neck.
It drops,
And
gets right back
It
up.
gets right back up. So let's talk about ways. If you, like I said, if you blew it up,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you caught it on fire
If
like
you-
gasoline and it
Jason
burnt
goes
down
to
to
hell.
nothing. Yeah.
Drop a mini nuke. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, can it morph back together? Well, there's certain things we don't know. Isn't there going to be another movie coming out? Like,
I think there's an It Follows too, but I heard it's more of the origin story.
Oh, great. Great.
well, we do need to know that because all we know is the bar bitch gave it to Hugh.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But she sat him down and told him what was going on, so you have to assume that someone gave it to her and told her what was going on, because you probably wouldn't just you wouldn't just know, would you?
Wouldn't that be one of the most dangerous places to work, at a bar, if you have this thing coming at you?
Yeah, when
You're
people
seeing
come in
different
all the
patrons
time.
every night.
Like, oh, God. First one to come in with a bar gets a bottle snapped across their head.
So the creature looks through the door and is in the form of the pervert neighbor boy.
The little kid who has been throwing like a red ball at the window.
And when she leaves, I thought this was cool as fuck. She gets in the car and it takes the form of a little girl. It's the little girl from the pictures that we saw, meaning it's her. It's her as a little girl. That was fucking cool.
How is that cool?
Because it's taking the form of shit that she's familiar with.
But it's taking the form of something that hasn't existed for 10 years.
Yeah, it's just fucking with her mind.
Yeah, it's totally mind fucking her. It has a lot to do with fucking, so it likes to fuck.
Then why take the form of a 90-year-old woman? Why take the form of a...
Because that's her in the future.
Maybe it's like the Critters...
How do you know that that's her in the future?
That's my assumption,
maybe
based
it's
on
the
context clues.
Critters bounty hunter, and like, it just liked the form of the old lady and said, I want to be that.
If you want to throw, like, 2 or 3 symbols in a movie, great. If you want to throw...
I think there's a running theme, though, I think is what's happening here.
That's like your opinion, man.
That's true.
I'm on the side of Ricardo, I think. It's just... something's missing from it.
Well, she escapes, she jumps in Greg's car and, like, leaves her friends behind, basically, starts driving down the road. She crashes.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, there's some problems with the timeline. She's crashed, she's not that far away. That thing is right there.
It should have got her
before. Next thing you know, she wakes up in the hospital, so it's like, how did it not catch her there? I'm not saying this movie's perfect. You keep looking at me.
It's not. That's
I'm just listening to you talk. When people talk, I look at who's talking.
So
it's the polite thing to do.
She's in the hospital, and
any hospital person could be it.
Greg.
But Greg wants to.
Greg takes one for the team.
Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Let's love, baby.
It's weird, isn't it? She was just in a car accident. I know that you're gonna help her out and be like, okay. And here's another problem that I have with this movie.
So if she said, Cooper, let's go, you would be like,
no, I don't want that demon.
Well, Greg doesn't believe it, so that's why he's willing.
Greg doesn't believe it, but here's my next problem with this. 10 minutes after she has sex, this thing is coming.
I think it's like a couple days later. Oh, you mean when she gets it?
When she gets it, this thing is coming 10 minutes later after her.
Yeah.
After Greg has sex with her, it takes days for this thing. This is the same town that this thing has been lurking in.
Yeah.
Don't you point your finger. Okay, what?
When it came after her the first time, it was originally after Hugh. So it had been following Hugh no matter where Hugh went, and they spent a long time in the same place. They were by the water, they went to the car. It could have been walking from a small part of town to there. In this situation, they're far away in a lake house, and now it has to walk from that lake house towards Jay, who then goes separate ways, but only, like, I guess, across the street.
She's in a hospital for days.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be after her, and she gave it to...
Michigan's huge.
She gave it to Greg, who's in the same town.
We don't know how far they drove.
That's what I mean. The boathouse is in an undetermined distance, so...
You can walk...
Look like Lake Michigan.
You can walk that far in a day to get to wherever they were.
Could.
Well, like we said, this thing might be out of shape.
It's not out of shape. It can take the shape of anybody. If it wants to be Usain Bolt, it can. It'll sprint the fuck across land. No, it's slow, they said. It can't do that.
It takes a couple days, and Jay is still, like, on edge, even though it's going to go after Greg and not her. Mm. And she happens to... She's basically holed up in her room, staring out the window, waiting for this thing.
She's become Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween
Resurrection.
Yeah.
Is he looking at me?
So I think this is a pretty creepy scene too, where she looks out and she just sees this tall thing leaping through the window.
I thought it looked a little bit like Greg in pajamas, and I was like, what the fuck is happening here?
She runs across the street, goes through the window, trying to warn Greg, and she gets into Greg's room, and this thing is humping him to death.
Wait,
it's his mom.
She sees.
I didn't
She
catch that.
sees. Yeah.
Oh,
she sees
no.
this thing knocking on the door to get into Greg's room.
And
I didn't mean nothing by it. I'ma make this quick. I gave your mama this dick.
She's standing there with one boob hanging out of her bra, and she gets through the door, and whenever what's her name gets there, she's fucking the life out of Greg.
I
That's
didn't
all you can
catch
say.
that was
She fucks
Greg's.
him to death.
I didn't catch that was Craig's mom. Oh.
This is my only thing that I'm gonna say against Ricardo. The thing, it never says how it can kill you. So we just see one representation of the girl on the beach, and then the other one of the demon. I like that.
Okay, so after Greg gets murdered by his mom, fucked to death by his mom,
Which is weird and kind of CG.
it takes the form of what I assume to be Greg again to go after her.
So are we just supposed to believe like she got in the car, drove for a bit, lured it away, came back home because it killed him in Greg's house. It killed Greg in Greg's house.
She drove
It's right
really
across the
far
street.
off, got out and slept on the car.
Oh, that's right.
Then she got up in the morning and went into the water to presumably fuck.
And
with
Yeah.
it couldn't locate her in the 10 hours it had to find her.
It's super slow apparently.
Dude,
10
don't know.
hours.
It
Okay.
walks. It does not run.
Okay. How
Yeah.
far do you assume she drove to that beach? I assume that beach is in 30 miles of the town because they're always there.
I go 50, 60 miles.
Mm.
You don't know that though. Nobody knows.
I don't know. They didn't tell us.
Yeah, that's the problem with this. We have no facts.
You'd
We
be
just have to.
bitching that they explain too much. I'm not a
No,
child. You
I
have to
li-
explain
If
everything.
they
to
I
said
me.
it was
like to
31 miles, you would do the math.
I
I
know
would.
you would.
And I would try to
I'm
figure
even
out.
giving them credit at walking at 4 miles an hour.
Yeah. I'm here to review a movie, and if there are plot holes,
Oh,
I'm here to
Jesus.
find those plot holes
Yeah.
and expose them for the lies that they try to get past us.
You've liked far shittier movies than this. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and it also has to do with my personal opinion.
Man.
But at least
So
there's problems.
the
You even admitted there's problems.
so the gangbang on the boat, did it happen?
I don't
think
know
it
if there
did.
was a gangbang or if she slept with one or didn't sleep with any. But if she slept with all three, that doesn't make a lot of sense because
It gets on her again that
it would
day
only
and
go
that
after the
night.
first one.
But
Right?
they would have
Unless
to kill
they
them
cross
all off.
swords.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
Well, we have to establish how many. Do we think she had sex with anybody?
I don't know, but they did a good job of making 3 frat boys in a boat because those 3 dudes would be like, yeah, they do.
Oh, they would.
Yeah, in a
oh,
heartbeat.
they'd bring
They
her
just
aboard and
looked-
they'd be like,
They just look like.
10 minutes later, she's walking out
Well,
of
that's
there.
what, if she did sleep with all 3 of these guys, she obviously didn't tell them what's gonna happen because
It's right back on her.
it's
in a
right back
couple
on her.
days.
So that's why I think that she got like halfway out there. Am I the only one that was concerned with what type of cast is on her arm? She's swimming with this thing all the time. It would stink.
It probably does.
It would absolutely stink. Ugh, Caster disgusting.
That's the thing about being a hot lady is you can get fucked by all kinds of people everywhere, even if you smell like
Well,
shit.
Hugh said that. You're a girl. Should be easier for you.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's true.
So she's back at her house after this scene, and Paul's starting to get a little creepy.
He just straight up asked,
Why'd
did
you
fuck
pick Greg
me?
and
Yeah,
not me? I put, this is not the time, Paul, to have this conversation.
that's true. But I do think that it's about time that he said something, although what he said isn't exactly a good move.
He is a useless character.
He is. He does
Yeah,
nothing.
Kind of. Well, but it was his brilliant idea to go to the swimming pool, though.
And what does this do? It almost gets her killed.
I think it would.
Right away, it doesn't work. They're like, oh, it didn't work.
Yeah,
Like,
he also
immediately.
didn't work.
Yeah, and then that guy starts launching electronics and trying to electrocute her.
No, I don't know how that would work. I would assume as soon as that first television went
It
into
should
the pool,
do
it was still plugged in.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Shouldn't she be electrocuted?
I would think. Or are they staying plugged in?
Well, do you have to, if you're below the water line until, I guess, it short circuits and just completely shorts out the television, is she safe until she pops up again?
I have no
Yeah, I
idea.
don't
Do
know how,
any
but-
electricians or anyone that knows how electricity
Listen to
works
the show.
write us, please?
Yep. If you are in a pool with electric, hair dryers,
Hair dryer's typewriter?
Typewriters.
Typewriter?
TVs.
She
anything
got
like that.
pegged with no less than 3 televisions.
Yeah, they
in
hit her
the
right on the head. Yeah.
That's a problem.
Well, I should say.
God, because if it didn't break, think of how hard that hit you.
So
Just
this
bounced
was-
off. It was like, boom.
We should say this is Paul's idea to go to the swimming pool.
Mm-hmm.
Paul wants to be the hero.
Yeah.
And have sex with her.
Granted.
But he's the loser, and he still
you know,
gets to have sex with her.
He at least has an idea other than, oh, sleep with me, it might not pass.
Who, like Greg?
Yeah, Greg was just like, it's
There's
not coming
nothing
out
there
here.
anyway.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
Well, first of all, Greg, he didn't believe. At least he was trying to help because at least he's physically stronger and bigger. That's why she probably had sex with him anyways.
That's what I'm saying. Paul, like, is real quiet, real skinny.
Greg's
real small.
older and bigger. I think that's why she chose Greg. Too.
Absolutely.
What kind of bigger are you talking about?
Physically.
Oh, okay.
So he can.
They didn't
fend
both
off-
get their dicks out. She's like, that's the one.
Yeah, oh, we got a 7 to a 5. Sorry, Paul. They called him Little Paul, huh?
It was Paul's idea to go to this swimming pool, and I guess he's going to try to electrocute this thing. Why, if you're Jay, are you in the middle of the pool? Wouldn't you be near the edge?
Yeah.
So you get the fuck out? And...
Bigger question. If you shot this thing and nothing happened,
Why
would you think electrocution's going to work?
You gotta try something, I guess.
Grenade. Rocket launcher.
I think they're just going to somewhere that's familiar.
Yeah.
Familia.
This is where I thought it became not the same movie or same concept, but Pontypool, where they had to wrap the ending up, and
Why is it so hard to come up with an ending? So many fucking horror movies blow it.
it's that last 10-15 minutes that.
Well, are we
Starts
going to
going
make
down.
a sequel? Well, if it does good at the box office, well, let's leave it open. So it just gets all muzzled in the last 10 minutes, and you're like, what?
So
There is a sequel.
Paul's plan isn't working with the electrocution thing, and he still has this gun. Again, we're shooting towards people. He takes.
They shoot it right in the head. Yeah, he takes out Yar, hits Yar in the leg.
Did you notice there was no consequence at the end of this movie for her being shot?
Nothing. She's just in the hospital.
Like,
Whose gun is that?
It's Greg's.
Yeah, they got it from Greg.
Mm-hmm.
D18.
He's 20,
He's 21.
21.
Holy
Yeah.
cow.
Or was that?
That was Hugh that was 21.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
It's lies. Everything you say is lies.
So we think we're gonna get. So yeah, Paul shoots this thing in the head,
It falls in the pool and it's still going.
but blood starts. No, the last shot.
That's the demon grabs the leg.
It has Jay by the leg, and Paul's shooting into the water, and.
What?
Jesus Christ.
That cat's out of control. What? Okay. Did it bleed earlier when it got shot? Because I don't remember blood.
You
Did
saw
it
a bit
bleed?
of gore at the beach house.
Yeah.
When it gets shot in the head, yeah, you see like a splash of. You see some gore.
Why does this thing have blood?
I don't know. But anyways, it bleeds into the pool. She looks. You think there's
Just
gonna
to
be
make
a.
it look
You
cool.
think there's gonna be a jump scare. There's
It's
gonna.
just all red with
It's
loud,
just all red.
a loud score, yeah.
And again, I think they just tried to wrap this thing up. We cut
Long
to.
cutscene.
We cut back to Jay's house. And
Paul's finally getting his wish.
Go Paul! I have. Yeah, finally.
He just lays
Go,
there.
Paul. You bashed Greg for taking the initiative.
No,
and
I was
taking it,
cheering
But
him
now
on,
you
like-
like Paul, who had a stupid
I
idea.
still don't
and
like
he,
Paul.
And he loses.
No, I was cheering Greg. Be like, yeah, take one for the team. He's probably like, I'll sleep with
I hate Paul.
you.
I hate Paul. He's the worst character we've
So-
seen since Rest Stop.
So then we after that we see the hospital scene where is it Yar is reading something from her clam shell.
The last speech
In
is
the-
about how death is chasing you, and then you realize that it's gonna catch you no matter what you do.
Is that where
So
you got
again,
this
this goes into your theory.
Yeah,
this
I
is
was
all
like,
about mortality.
When that happened at the end, I'm like, yes,
So
jackpot.
and then we get the Paul and Jay walking down the street. They're holding hands. You're getting behind shot, behind, front. And we see somebody starting to walk down the sidewalk. And then it just the credits roll.
Yeah, it could be it. It might not
It
be.
could just be a person.
Who cares?
So
We're gonna make a compliment sandwich. So Ben, you go first.
I thought this is one of the better movies I've seen in a horror film that I've seen in quite some time. I'm going with I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I thought. Working a little notes here. Love the score. I love that synth. I think they do it better than Carpenter actually. I know.
What?
Well, there's another movie that came out about the same time. Stars the same girl, Mika.
I want
I
that
don't know
on
names,
record.
So-
His favorite movie is Halloween. He just said that this synth is better than John
I
Carpenter.
didn't say it was better than that score. I just said I think some of the Carpenter movies,
No.
the scores
You
are.
said
In the Mouth of Madness has that fart guitar.
So
That's not sin.
but Micah Monroe, that's her name. She did another movie around the same time called The Guest, which I want to pick next as one of our.
The Guest.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's better than this movie. So, love the score. I thought the characters, a little emo,
Bland.
but I thought they were likable. Nobody was Paul was kind of creepy, but
Yara was
you could
annoying.
actually. I thought they did a pretty good job. You could actually sympathize with Jay. Like she's just thrust into this. She's kind of young. She thinks like this relationship's starting with this guy, and then he sleeps with her, and then he knocks her out. Like this almost horrific. I don't know. I got like a rape vibe to.
A Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, she's like just thrown out of a car in her underwear, and I thought it was beautifully shot. The colors, the scene when they're in the car, when Hugh's passing it on to, just looked great. I like the Dream Logic world. I'm a Lynch fan, and it wasn't as crazy as Lynch usually gets.
No.
But I like those little touches where you're just not sure exactly where you're at, what time period you're at. I like the original concept of this movie, as Cobra's going to tell you later with his what not to watch. There's a lot of dread out there, dreadful movies to watch.
That is absolutely true.
And speaking of dread, I just felt dread throughout this whole movie. Like, I thought it was tense. Psychologically, it I don't know, mind fucks you. And I appreciated they didn't use many jump scares. They could have, because a lot of movies today, that's all they rely on. Was there one or two in this movie?
There was like two.
Were there any scares?
One was really well executed.
Were there any
Yeah, they
scares
didn't-
in this movie?
Eh.
Well, it's psychological.
I thought
thriller,
the tall guy coming through the door the first time I saw it was kind of jolting.
The second time it wasn't.
It wasn't the second
So
time.
the first time, did he, because Yar or whatever is knocking on the bedroom door,
Yara.
and she opens it, and you see her, and then you see this very tall man walking. Does he pass right through her?
I think so.
Okay.
Let's talk about her. She farts earlier in the movie too,
She
like
did.
a disgusting pig. What a
You're
gross
disgusted by
hog.
that. So would I give it 8 out of 10?
Yep.
I thought it was very good. I loved it.
All right, Cobra.
I gave it a 4 out of 10. It's okay, but there's so many plot holes in it that it just makes me. And pick a time frame. I don't want to try to guess. I don't want to see 5 different decades all in one movie. To me, that's not good. I don't like that at all. And I think their cut shots, they weren't that great. They elapsed too much time throughout each shot. And like I said, when it's after her, it shows up 10 minutes later. When it's after Greg, you're telling me it takes 3 days to walk around Detroit or whatever to get to somebody. Maybe 4 days.
Maybe it walked into some bad neighborhoods.
But it walks through
Got
people.
jumped.
It walks through people. No one can see it. So
I'm joking. You didn't
you
really
know.
have to defend that comment.
Well, I'm gonna defend it. The synth was okay, but I think they overplayed it. I do not think it is anywhere near John Carpenter's synth, but to each his own. I just didn't think that this movie was that poor.
Okay. I gave it an 8. I liked the symbolism. I liked the the metaphors. Yeah. Whatever.
When you say symbolism, I automatically think Boondock Saints.
Oh, fuck that movie.
Symbology. And it's like symbolism. Sorry, go
That's
on.
alright. I thought that the characters acting the way they did was realistic of that particular age group. So.
Do you I'm cutting in like I normally do during one thing I wanted to bring up was I saw at least one person compare this to Mumblecore. Did you think it went that far?
No, although, yeah, maybe.
A little bit. I could see, but I felt they didn't go full into it. It was they pulled it back when it started becoming a problem.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a fan of Mumblecore movies, but
No, I actually, until I wore the headphones, I was having some trouble picking up on the dialogue in this movie a little bit. I didn't think the sound design was that great, but the score was great. And
An 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I do like the timelessness because it feels like a movie you could watch at any time and it could be representative of any time era. So
I feel like if Cobra came into my house, he would be like, what time period you live in? There's a record player on your shelf. Why?
No, but I'm not trying to sit there and enjoy a movie by walking into your living room.
Why is there a picture of Audrey Hepburn on your wall?
I got.
You know that
photos
is
from the
not the
1700s
same
in
thing
mine,
as
so
you
I
having a
feel ya.
1960s photo on your wall, as them watching 1950s TV. The TV looks like it's from 1950. What is it, a Studebaker? They got fucking 70s cars, 80s mullets. There's 90s cars, 2000 Ford Focus. You said. I mean, this girl's on this fucking little seashell Kindle. I mean,
That
it's
scrolls
all
both
over.
screens.
Yeah,
That was
it's
weird.
all over the fucking map. That's
I liked it.
just not. This isn't imagination land,
It is imagination land.
and that's stupid. I need solids. I need stuff in my movie. That's not retarded.
So again, I cut you off, John. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I thought this movie was as much fun to put together as Donnie Darko is. So,
And I enjoyed Donnie Darko.
yeah,
I think Donnie Darko is way better than this.
I like it more, but I do really, really like this movie.
Yes. I agree.
This movie is not that entertaining. It's pretty boring. You just really watch these old, slow people walk.
What's your definition
other
of
people.
entertaining? You make it sound like
What we
there's
do
not
in the
enough-
shadows, I think, was entertaining. I do not
that
think
was
that
a
it
comedy.
followed. Okay, you just asked me what I think is entertaining. What we do in the shadows, I think, is far more entertaining
So
of
you're
a
saying
watch
this
than
is
It
more-
Follows is.
I think what you're trying to say is this is more drama, and you don't really like dramas that much.
I don't. You're correct.
Okay. So like
I see,
entertaining,
I
it's
see.
not action, it's not
It's
comedy.
just boring and slow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
a lot of them. Like It Comes at Night, you'd probably love. There's a lot of symbolism in there.
You like visual or audio stimulation.
Yes,
this
I do.
does not have,
This
Okay.
does not have that.
This has
That's why I
slow
prefer
moments.
Friday the 13th.
and that's why I like this movie.
Opposed
I like
to
those movies
Paranormal
too. I
Activity.
just-
I like, yeah, both. I
I just-
don't mind.
I just don't like. We live in a time where they're just constantly bringing out remakes or just sequels of just utter crap. It's like Dead Silence Part 3, or
Please God, no.
that's what I mean. Like The Last
But what-
Exorcist Part 2, and it's like you can't have a Last
But
Exorcist
what-
Part 2.
But
A New
what
Beginning,
is
Part
this?
3.
The fear of death.
I think it's just
is what
original
John
concept,
says.
and I appreciate.
I think that's what it is, a fear of death. Or not a fear of death, a realization that mortality is coming and then
Your
trying
childhood's
to outrun it.
over.
Yeah. But you can't because it will always be there.
Okay, try to represent that in maybe like a teenage girl movie and not a fucking horror movie.
Isn't
'Cause
death
it's
the
stupid.
scariest thing that there is?
I don't know. Some people fear dragons.
That's true. We should probably tell everybody that dragons aren't real. Break it to them.
Everybody is scared of something.
Ever since Night of the Lupus, I'm scared of rabbits.
That's true.
And they're all over my yard. I see their footprints every morning in the snow.
More and more every day. All right. Is anything else?
No, it's,
All right.
if
No.
more people want to write in, I would love to.
Yeah.
get
What do you
people's
guys think? This is pretty
controversial film, I know,
divisive.
but
Yeah. I think it was divisive when it
If
came out.
you think
too,
the
so.
shots were really good, have you seen Neon Demon?
I haven't watched
Because
it.
that might just blow your mind.
I haven't seen it.
Except
yet.
Jenna Malone from Donnie Darko, she looks like a dead corpse. and
It's a gorgeous to look
necrophilia.
at movie, but it is not.
The story
I don't
structure is just like,
understand
Okay.
It's the model world out in California.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd like that.
They're all
but,
witches.
But the
I
shots are
assume.
great, and you love Keanu Reeves, and he's in that.
It's like a modern day Suspiria.
His
I feel
name
like.
means Cool Breeze over the mountain.
His name means. I'm not gonna say.
I just remember
I'm gonna
going
edit
to
that out.
Regal Cinema all the
I
time.
don't care.
And that was always one of the trivias they would play before the movie started. Was Keanu Reeves means Cool Breeze over the mountain.
Is that like in Hawaiian? Or?
I think, I don't know. But,
Yeah, take advantage.
I have
of the
been to
fact that
Hawaii.
I know. Yep.
Best place on earth.
I imagine. I want to live there.
Hey,
It's still in the U.S.
Gorgeous. That's
gorgeous! Sunshine State.
How good was that movie?
Oh.
We went to theaters and saw that, right?
Yeah, we did. I think I saw that in a theater 2 or 3 times.
So good.
That was where were we? Oh, we're
Closing
wrapping
it
this
up.
up.
Closing up, It Follows.
Where
Right.
can they contact us, John?
Facebook.com/horrorcasting. We're on Twitter @horrorcasting. You can email the show horrorcastings@gmail.com. And our show is currently on here, YouTube.
The Choop Choop.
Yep, Choop Choop.
Shoot
That's right. All right.
Thrill me.